Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today I want to respond to a video called Could God Be Evil by atheist YouTuber Cosmic Skeptic. The content of the video is based on a paper by atheist philosopher Stephen Law called The Evil God Challenge, and he has a personal appearance in the video. The video starts by presenting the problem of evil, mentioning atheist philosopher J.L. Mackie, and then focuses on the rebuttals that religious people bring countering the problem of evil. So in summary, Cosmic Skeptic and Stephen Law claim that religious people use these rebuttals, also called theodicies, to establish a good God hypothesis, and that these rebuttals could easily be reversed to establish an evil God hypothesis. So therefore they are not convincing or functioning at all.
The theist typically has a kind of belief system put together with various arguments for defensive moves and so on, and it's striking to what extent you can build a very similar kind of belief system around another core belief that there's an evil God, which the theist will typically reject as absolutely absurd. And really the point is this, that they're right. It is. It is completely absurd.
Right.
Notwithstanding all of the clever, convoluted maneuvers that I might engage in order to defend this belief system, their first impression is completely correct. It's ludicrous. You need only look out the window to see that this is not the creation of a supremely powerful and malevolent deity. And if that is true of an evil God, then it can be true of a good God too.
And for this argument to work, you don't actually need to offer any analysis of whether the religious theodicies, the defenses against the problem of evil, are good or bad. You don't comment on whether they're good or bad. You just say, if you believe these and if you think that they're sound, if you think that they work, you should be aware that they also work just as well to defend the hypothesis that God is maximally evil. And if you find that ridiculous, maybe you should question the theodicy in the first place.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah.
My thanks, of course.
So since Cosmic Skeptic refers to him in the beginning of the video, let's have a look at how J.L. Mackie, atheist philosopher, presents the problem of evil. In his writing Evil and Omnipotence, J.L. Mackie says, God is omnipotent. God is wholly good. And yet, evil exists. There seems to be some contradiction between these three propositions, so that if any two of them were true, the third would be false. But at the same time, all three are essential parts of most theological positions. The theologian, it seems, at once must and cannot consistently adhere to all three. So the reason I quoted this argument is to show you that the aim of the problem of evil is to prove that the existence of an all-good and all-powerful God is contradictory to the existence of evil. That's just what the argument is saying. Therefore, when religious people respond to the problem of evil, their intention is to show that the existence of these three propositions is not contradictory at the same time, and that there are logical explanations for it. So by misrepresenting the aim of religious people when they respond to the problem of evil, by making it seem that they intend with their rebuttals to prove that God is all good, what's not the case at all, you're committing a straw man fallacy here. There is a big difference between me proving that something is logically possible and proving that this possibility is true. Our belief that God is all good is based upon evidence established prior to responding to the problem of evil. And our responses are in no way to prove that God is all good, but to prove that the existence of evil is not contradictory to his all good and all powerful nature. If you're trying to be smart now by saying that the existence of an all evil good would be just as logically consistent, you're shooting yourself in the foot, because you're the one who claimed that these three propositions are not possible to be true at the same time. But what's more important, leaving everything what I said before aside, is that in order for our arguments involving good and evil to make any sense, we have to be able to define objectively what good and evil is. And since you started quoting J.L. Mackie, let's see if he can help you with this definition. I mean, he presented the problem of evil, so he must have an idea what evil is. J.L. Mackie says, There are no objective values. The claim that values are not objective is meant to include not only moral goodness, which might be most naturally equated with moral value, but also other things that could be more loosely called moral values or disvalues. Rightness and wrongness, duty, obligation, and actions being rotten and contemptible, and so on. That didn't work so well, but let's be fair and give Cosmic Skeptic a chance to define evil for himself. And let's have a look at what his definition of good and evil is and where he derives his morals from.
Is rape wrong objectively, past, present, future, yes or no?
So the answer is this, right? It is objectively true that to allow people to rape morally would not be an achievement of the goal that we all share.
That's not the question I asked.
That's the objectivity in it.
Yeah, but you're answering a question.
What you want me to do? What you want me to do?
Wait 1 second. You're answering a question I didn't ask. I asked a very clear question, which everybody I think understood here, right? I asked, is rape wrong? Is that objectively true? And you're just beating around the bush.
But the reason why I have to beat around the bush is because I have to clarify that, remember how I said that a base principle can be subjective, but you can have objective derivatives from it?
Right.
So in terms of the objective derivative from our nature, yes, it is objectively wrong. Yes, is the answer to your question.
Based upon the subjective...
But you're going to want to turn around then and say, but it's based upon a subjective principle.
Yes.
Yes, it is, right?
Yes.
But that doesn't mean that I can say rape is not objectively wrong. I say that if we agree on this subjective moral principle, which we do, then we can make the objective derivative
No, but
that
would a rapist agree to that? Of course they wouldn't.
No, they wouldn't. But again, whether or not someone agrees with me is irrelevant to whether it's correct
But
or not.
look, Alex,
this is another jump you keep making.
Alex, what you're doing is you're building a house on a sandcastle, yeah? You are trying to say, look, if you ask me the question, I would say it's rape is wrong. Yes, it's wrong objectively.
Yeah.
But in your case, what you're basically you're doing is you're saying, right, subjectively, some people may hold this opinion. According to that, then since they all subjectively...
No, all people do hold that opinion.
Okay,
and
look,
from that, we objectively derive that rape is wrong.
A rapist
yes.
of course doesn't hold that opinion.
No, a rapist does value their pleasure and the avoidance of their suffering.
They value their pleasure,
yeah,
right?
Do, right?
So it's not wrong for them.
Yeah, right, okay.
Because they're maximizing their pleasure.
No, but look, again, this is the mistake we're making. I said, I remember...
No, you're making because...
This is the man going into town and saying, let's paint the town yellow. This is what the rapist is doing, right? Just because they're saying, it's all subjective. I want this to be yellow. I don't want it to be blue. It's like,
but
you are being
Alex,
inconsistent.
You are assuming...
This doesn't work. You are wrong, right? You are incorrect. Even if it's based on a subjective-based principle, it is objectively wrong
Alex,
as a derivative to be saying this.
Your entire argument is based upon the assumption that everybody likes the color blue. That's not true. And look,
no, of course that's not true. But by analogy,
me liking the color, chocolate or vanilla, is as arbitrary for Alex as someone committing rape or not committing rape.
But it's not as necessarily true.
But it's not as necessary.
Yeah, it's not as necessary.
Do you see? So for him, it's just as subjective. Whether you like chocolate, vanilla, or something else, it's just as subjective when it comes to rape, murder, pillaging, all of these things. And behind all the sophisticated technical jargon and sophistry,
I'll take that as a compliment.
Essentially, what it boils down to is the same thing which Richard Dawkins admitted to. The idea that rape is wrong is as arbitrary as the fact that we have 5 fingers rather than 6.
Okay. So if good and evil are just based upon subjectivity and their origin comes from subjective principles, then what evil are you talking about in the context of God? Are you so arrogant and egocentric that you want that God submits himself to your understanding of evil that holds no objective value over any other understanding of evil, but is based on pure randomness and it's just arbitrary? And since it would be a joke to answer this question with yes, I would advise you to humble yourself and to accept the fact that you're incompetent to talk about good and evil, and that your deficient atheistic mindset doesn't provide you the tools to engage in such discussions. So yeah, I think my work is over and I don't need to say anything more to this silly argument. As for the viewers, if you want to learn more about the meaning of evil inside atheism, in the atheistic paradigm, make sure to watch my video called Evil and Atheism. And if you want to know the Islamic solution to the problem of evil, because I didn't mention it in this video, make sure to watch my video about the problem of evil. It's the first video I made on this channel. I will make sure to put the links in the description box below. So I will go now, but before I will end the video, I will leave you with a quote by atheist biologist Richard Dawkins that will give us a bit more insight in the atheistic mindset and how they understand good and evil. And to prove my point further, that they shouldn't engage in such discussions because their ideology doesn't provide them with the tools. So thank you for watching. make sure to check out the quote at the end of the video, and may Allah reward you with good. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. The universe that we observe has precisely the properties we should expect if there is, at bottom, no design, no purpose, no evil, no good, nothing but pitiless indifference.